Alright, what's the over-under on my dog bumping into the table? Find out, I guess. Okay, so I've decided to start going back to Digimon locals. Haven't really been playing too much Yu-Gi-Oh! As of late. I don't know, I just find it a little boring. So it's one of the benefits of playing more than one TCG. Get bored of one, can go play the other, right? So yeah, I decided to play kind of the green control variant. Green's where most of my good cards are from because the only other time I was really playing was like 1.5 format, where Sarah's Mine was pretty cool. So yeah, I actually got first place, sort of. Asterisk footnote. There was only 5 people, including me. So it was pretty small, and I did have a bye and a loss. So basically, I went 2-1, which is but they weren't against like scrub decks or players either, so whatever. So I just wanted to go through the deck that I've been kind of playing. It's obviously not optimal. Like I said, I haven't been playing a ton, but it is not bad. So, just starting with the Digitama, I guess. Go with 4 Mino and 1 free. Realistically, I probably should be playing the Digiburst one. What is it? I think it's Yokomon's got the Digiburst. But this was actually okay. I'm not playing like an abundant amount of Digiburst. If I decide to take the deck in that direction, then yeah, this is just what I had. So, Minomon, if I attack an opponent's Digimon, I get +1, and then Freemon, if your opponent has 2 suspended, I gain +2. So, nice little buff, nothing crazy. Then for the 3 lineup, it's pretty much the same for like most of my green decks. It's going to be 2 Terriermon because with memory boosts in the format, it's good. 4 Gobbly because 2 drops are pretty important in green because you do have Digizorb. Like no matter the green variant, you're going to be playing some of the Digizorbs. Palmon's just like the best generic. Ooh, a little bit of a glare, sorry. Best generic one, and that one just lets you get +2 if you attack a Digimon again. And then 4 of the Agumon, so just like all the other plain Agumons, gain +1,000 on your turn, which is pretty nice since a lot of green cards are pretty small. This deck, it's not too bad, but it's okay. I don't think really either of them came up too much. Like, this would only really matter if you're attacking security, whereas like this one wouldn't help. So I think going forward, I might try something else in this slot. It didn't help me, but also didn't like hurt me, I guess, if that makes sense. So that's 14. It's not the usual 16 that green was playing, but it's still pretty good. So a big change with the new cards is hybrids, right? So every color's pretty much got hybrids. Green has their own. This is still like a great blocker. This gives me some Digiburst effects, right? So these are my, oops, I guess that's it. These are the 12 that I'm playing. Honestly, I could play more. If I went more Troymon heavy, more hybrids would be pretty cool. This is just like pretty sweet. Like when my Nidhogg goes off, my Nidhogg now only costs 4 instead of 5 basically, because I'll gain a memory if it's Digiburst. There's just a 1 Evo blocker, which is pretty sweet. Since it's not like super Digiburst focus, I think the cheap Digivolves are even more important. like these two. And Arbormon was honestly MVP. I closed out so many games with this. Like after seeing Red and Blue do it so much, where they're just like swing, swing, everything kind of survives. Like, um, and the fact that you can just like drop it on your Tamer is so sick. Because like if you run into like a Gaia Force and this is still in your hand, like what are they gonna pop? One of your already attacked Digimons, and then you're like, cool, drop on the Tamer and then swing, which is unreal. Honestly, hybrids change the game a lot, like a lot. I hope they don't make them too broke because they honestly change the game a lot. Or they have to start adding stuff that deletes Tamers more, which I'm sure they will. The fives, these are pretty standard. Like these are in every green deck no matter what. Then I played two Cherry and one Akua Mon. So the Blossomon, it's just a Digizord 3. So basically you can come in suspended if you want, or suspend something else, just comes in free. This, same thing, except it has one attacking inheritable that lets me drop a green suspended. Cherrymon was honestly huge my last 2 rounds too. Just the fact that it's a big blocker that I can swing with and not like have the lose 2 memory thing is huge. ACOS is pretty big too on these guys because I forgot what that. What is that option that lets you? What is it? Delete something with play cost of 7 or less, right? So, this is safe from that. Akuamon, I just kind of kept in here as like the 8th one, just because when I delete a Digimon, I gain a memory. That was okay. Realistically, again, it didn't really come up. In the future, I think I might change to Cherrymon. Having these bigger blockers, having the bigger blockers like this, the 7K blockers, are kind of intimidating for your opponent, and they don't want to like attack through them, and they get a little more worried, right? So that was the 5s. And then for all hail the 6s, all hail Nidhogg, 2 Ancient Troy, a Hercules, a Boncho, and then actually for a 7, I played the Green-Black Chaos Mon. So this is kind of a funky lineup. It's definitely not very optimal. I think realistically, I'm going to add in another Nidhogg. Troymon was like super MVP. Like you get Troymon up and people are just scared to push. Like super scared to push. I don't know why. Realistically, they should be swinging. I mean, any like bond deck should be like swinging early and often anyways, right? But one player, like actually both that I played, were just like super nervous to swing and then get Nidhogged, which doesn't make sense to me because if you have a bunch of little guys, like I can Nidhogg you anyways. But yeah, this puts a lot of pressure on people. They feel like they need to OTK or else they're just going to get OTK'd, which is pretty cool. 2 was good. I would not play more. I know some people play 1. The Nidhogg Ancient Troy combo was MVP. And even if I didn't pull that off specifically, like it scared them enough to hold off and let me build up resources. Hercules, I was playing the Lily. It's the Lilymon? Oh no, Rafflesiamon. Yeah. The one that Digiburst 2 and boost all your Digimon by 2K, right? But I just didn't find that necessary. Like I would rather have this because if I don't have the Ancient Troy Nidhogg thing and I have Hercules Nidhogg, I can Digiburst 2 to suspend one of theirs and then drop Nidhogg and like wipe the board. It also has piercing, so if I can drop this, suspend, and then run over, like that's huge, right? Poncho actually like completely won me a game today. It's not that good of a card because there's not too many people like that are sitting on big guys. I feel like you're just getting OTK'd and pushed when other decks get to there. level 6s. But if you don't know, it also has piercing. But when attacking, if my opponent has a 12k or higher, this gains 7,000, right? So it goes up to 15. And so then it's a piercer and it gains security +2. So like I had swung over a Gabu Bond that didn't OTK me, thank God. And I swung over it and did 3 checks. And it was huge. Like, and then like I just dropped Arbor in game. Like just like that. So it was pretty nice, but I think I also might play the Reflesiumon just because like when I'm not in that situation where they have a big guy, if you notice, like they're all very expensive. 5 cost and 4 cost, like not that that's like super out of the ordinary, but that causes like a turn change a lot of times, right? And Hercules, that's the reason he's not. So if this guy was 3, it would be busted because you're gonna get 3 from your memory tamer, and you can drop him, suspend, pierce, right? That's like so busted. 4, like you have to like be wary of that. The good thing about Reflesiumon is, of course, I don't have it on me right now. It's a 3 cost that can also be a 1 cost over your 6s, right? So if you need to, you can drop over one of these guys. But Bancho actually was okay. It was really the only game that really came up because if they don't have a big guy, he's kind of useless. Chaosmon, I literally did not get to play it at all today. I'm only playing 1 because it's not like a huge deal. Maybe I don't know. Do I drop the Chaosmon for the Rafflesia? I'm just not sure. But Chaosmon's pretty sweet just for pushing. Like realistically, if you think about it, Bancho swing over a guy, gets 3 checks, and then can Digivolve on top, unsuspend, and immediately pierce over an unsuspended Digimon, which is pretty sweet. So then that's 4 right there. So again, didn't really come up. I know some green decks are playing the other Chaosmon. I don't have access to it right now, the yellow-green one, but I think this lineup actually did okay. If anything, I dropped these 2 for another Nidhogg and a Rafflesia. That's the only thing that I could possibly think of, just to make it a little more consistent. But for Tamers, I played 1 Takui, 2 Mimi, and 1 Izzy Mimi. And then options, I played the green Memory Tamer, 2 Needle Spray, and an HPD. So Takui is sick. I can't find myself like not putting this in like my green decks. Like it helps me. I think it helped me a ton dig for the 6s that I needed. And realistically, like what would I put in here? I'm not sure. Right, so I think like that's good. And even though I'm playing 4 hybrids, just these 3 are enough in my opinion. Like I don't know. I can't think of a green tamer that I really want in here. And like more than 2 Mimi is just gross. So Takumi, if you don't know, when you Digivolve, besides your breeding area, right? You can suspend, draw an extra card. And it also gives all level 3s, when attacking, lose a memory. So for Gabubons and Agubon kind of decks, so they're swinging with all their little guys kind of first, it causes them to kind of reconsider a bit. So I think that's why it's sick. And I'm never swinging with my 3s, really. Mimi, Memory Tamer, and if I have a 5 or higher, can suspend, perform another hatch, or move out of breeding. So that's pretty sweet for pushing. You kind of have to line it up to where the tap's going to move out because that's where like your opponent kind of like forgets about it and puts more pressure. But again, there's sometimes where you have to suspend to hatch and draw, just so you can get like more draws. Izzy Mimi, it only came up once, but if your opponent has suspended, I gain 2. I mean, I only got to really play it once. And then if I attack with a 5, reveal the top 3, and evolve into a green without paying a 6. Excuse me, without playing its memory cost, um, which is pretty sweet. So I only ever used that effect once, and I whiffed anyways. It's like super mediocre in this deck because like, what am I gonna do? Swing it like make a Nidhogg, and then that Digivolving is gonna trigger, and like I don't know. It's okay. Uh, Green Memory Boost. I like can't find myself like 90% of the decks right now. I think should have their colors memory boost in them. Two of them. More than that's kind of like excessive, but this is what helps you. These two or these two is what helps you get to that Troy and Nidhogg without passing turns. Especially if you can Nidhogg with you have when you have the Weedmon under, right? So that's super important. Like I know I just said like I think like more than two is kind of gross, but um, this I don't know, man. It's kind of huge, especially the search too. Um, Needle spray again, like I can then Nidhogg. If they're scared of Nidhogg, then too bad. Like I can needle spray and um, Nidhogg whatever I want. And HPD is just basically a Digizorb for 5. So again, my 6s just kind of go through. So about the matchups, realistically, um, nothing to. I played. Let's see, what did I play? I played 2 Gabu Bonds, right? Beat one, lost to the other. I just super bricked one game and like literally couldn't play, and he just OTK'd me like in 2 turns. I'm like, cool. Literally had nothing to play. I drew like this, like legit. I think I drew like all my 6s. I drew like 4 or 5 6s, and then like 2 5s and like a tamer like over the course of the turns. I'm like, cool, 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 cool. Then I played. Actually, was that loss a? I can't remember actually if it was. Shoot, I'm mixing up local days. I can't remember if it was 2 Gabumon or 2 Lord Nightmon, but I lost to one and beat. So I beat one Gabumon, beat a Lord Nightmon in the finals 2-0 actually, which is pretty sweet. Beat a Gabumon, yeah. And then what was the other thing I played? Oh, I guess then I had the bye, right? So I think it was 1 Gabumon and 2 Lord Knight. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a Lord Knight, and then that's the one I bricked and just like legit could not play, which sucks. Um, yeah, so I mean the deck performed like pretty good in my opinion. I think again like the only changes might be here because they literally never came up, and here. I think the rest of the deck is perfect. Maybe I'm not sure what they would come out for. Maybe the Valderarm one. Maybe a Rafflesia. Uh, maybe another Cherry. So, but that's about it. I just wanted to share my success a little bit. In my opinion, the toughest part about TCGs is kind of spreading yourself too thin. Maybe I'll do another podcast again with my buddy, and we'll talk about that. But the good part about Digimon is one, it's not a rotating game so far. We can, so you can just kind of like stick to a color and build up good cards for that color, and still change your deck, right? I think if you invest too much into like multiple colors and multiple decks, you're just going to be in trouble, right? Unless you're okay just like constantly getting rid of and picking up cards and constantly getting rid of and picking up cards. I think it's better to stick to a couple decks that you like, especially colors, and you can just build up. Like I have almost all the good green cards. Maybe I'm missing some new ones, but um, I did want to talk about. Actually, I forgot to mention The Lillimon was an option to play. I took out the Takumi, and I was playing a second. And then the other day when I was playing, well, it doesn't really matter. I was playing a Sarismon build without the Troymons, obviously, because they kind of conflict. And the Digizorbs. And it was okay. The reason... So these all kind of came out for the Troymon and stuff, but... the reason I didn't play Lillimon, because I had a bunch of people ask, is I want that Nidhogg to go off. And if I Digiburst 2 before I get up to it, then that does me almost no good. So, I don't know, maybe I'll put one of these in for the Akuamon, but it's also like a 3 cost. Like, the when attacking's like kind of neat. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a shot, but we'll see. I'll go again to locals next week, try it out. Maybe toss in another Nidhogg and maybe the Lillas. See how we do. All right. Until next time. Peace.